Stain, we will be close to, I think that we are close to more than a year and a half doing this Townhalls. It has been incredible. Again, first of all, big shout out to everyone who is here listening today. Thank you as always for all your support. Uh, we have an action-packed town hall for today. We have an action-packed. I know I always say this, but we have some really cool interviews today. We have some really cool content to share. As always, I'm here with my co-host Michael Wagner. Hello, Shiner. How are you, man?
Santi, I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good. You know, we have been super busy, but it's always good to have at least an hour here to chat with the community and keep everybody updated on what's going on, which is always awesome. And we also have here on stage with us two very interesting guests. We have Brad, gameplay engineer. Brad, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, Santi. How are you?
Doing really good, man. Thank you for asking. We will be interviewing you after we cover some updates, and also a surprise guest for today, Chris. Chris, actually director of game economy, and one of his main focuses right now is the game economy, building the game economy for Scream. So, Chris, how are you, man?
Doing well. It's been a very productive week, so I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome, man. I know you have some cool stuff to share with us, so yeah, I think we can just get started right now. We'll get to that, and yeah, I mean, we can start covering some updates. I know we have the winner for the contest, the video contest that Dave created. Probably you know about Davey B from the mod faction. He got his bitboat stolen by some punas, and we had a contest running for you guys to create your videos, and the winners are going to be announced today. So, Dave, if you're in the audience, please raise your hand. I will get you into stage so we can announce the winners. But also now, if you tag me in the Stratlas Townhall chat, you will see that my GIF is looking really dapper as always. I'm dressing up for these Townhalls. I'm committing to the cause. So tag me in Townhall chat. I want to see that. I have worked hard on dressing up like that. So yeah. Dave, man, how are you, sir?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, everything perfect, man. Everything's
okay.
perfect.
Awesome. Yes, I wanted to fill you in, Santi, because the contest really turned out to be really amazing. Considering we didn't give people a lot of no advanced warning, we kind of threw it on everybody, but it was amazing the talent that came out of nowhere. Really, I don't know how many people got to see everything that came out on Twitter or that was in on that Discord channel for content creators. But we had a little bit of everything. We had volcanoes. We had ancient mud spaceships from NASA. We had looked like a 747 cockpit angle, like someone was actually in the cockpit of a 747. We had an Oni night market that looked like a little like Thailand, perhaps. It might have been like a Thailand, perhaps. And we had all kinds of genres, like wacky comedy, action adventure, straight drama. We had some UE5 graphics even. We had people hiding under blankets. We had people with guns. We had an Ooster birthing lab from Heim.
Oh, wow.
A little bit disturbing. Very clean and well run. So we like that as well. And lots of mentions of an Opal Bitboat and mentions of two drunk Punobs kept coming up, but we never did verify if they are the same two drunk Punobs from the other story.
I'm sure they were, man. I'm sure they were celebrating the
Dave, did anybody find that bitboat, or are you still on the hunt?
Still on the hunt, Michael. Lots of stories. I don't know exactly how many to believe, but it's amazing how the story was carried forward, actually. And I think Davey B has an idea of where. Well, if Davey B's aware, if he was watching these, I'm not sure he was, but there's definitely some sightings around the galaxy. So that was cool. I did want to mention our judges and thank them. First of all, we had Matt Medney, our Star Atlas head writer. Of course, he's also the CEO of Heavy Metal, the famous comic brand. He's helping with a lot of our narrative projects, which not all have been released yet, but of course he's helping with the graphic novel as well as other things. And Gavin Harris, who helped join us, he is a co-executive producer of Chicago PD, which is airing right now. He's also been on Law and Order, CSI, Cold Case. He was very impressed. He did not know a lot about Star Atlas coming in. He did a crash course, was very impressed with the imagination and the creativity that was shown. And he had some strong opinions. And as well as Dom, who subbed in for Santi midweek, because Santi was feeling a little down. So Dom subbed in. And, the judges had to hash it out because it was not an easy decision. Are we ready to reveal?
We are ready, man. We are ready.
Okay, the winner, and again, was a very difficult decision. The winner of the first ever, by the way, we branded this. It's called the Creative Community Cinema Contest, or the Star Atlas 4C.
I like that.
The winner of the very first annual Star Atlas 4C contest, Morpheus of the Mud faction. That was the first one that came out. A very simple story, well told, hilarious. And everybody loved it. That was the one everyone had in their top 2. So congratulations to Morpheus. Congratulations to the Mud. There you have it.
Congratulations, Morpheus. Congratulations. I'm sure David was a super tough decision. I still need to catch up with a lot, but I saw some of the videos and man, all high quality. So just kudos to everyone who participated. We love to see the videos, and congrats to Morpheus.
Yes, and he'll have 3 Fimble Lobies headed his way. So congratulations for that.
Awesome. We will be collecting your wallet address, Morpheus, so we can send you the ships. Cool. Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much, man.
Sure.
And thank you for creating a new movement here in the Star Atlas community. Like everybody loved the Davey V from the mod faction video. Like, man, that's hilarious. So thank you, man.
Oh, thank you, man. All right.
Thanks,
Talk to
Dave.
you later.
It was a really cool event.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
See ya, Dave. Thank you for joining, man. Cool. So Swag, do we want to go straight, as we always do, straight into business? We can cover some general updates if you want.
Yeah, of course, man. So, I want to make sure we save some time for Q&A at the end here. Obviously, we have a couple of great guests on stage with us, Brad and Chris. Really appreciate you guys joining and sharing some insight about your experience here at Automata, building Star Atlas, and sharing with the community what it is that you've been working on. I will say, Santi, this was a little bit of a spicy week in terms of feedback.
Yeah.
You always ask me how I'm doing. I know that you and Jose were in an Atlas brew, and it was a bit tough. I mean,
we're here for the good and the bad, the high and the low. We are here, man. So it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, and I think from our perspective, obviously, it's nothing motivates us more than delivering great product, and obviously we want to keep the community happy. We want to keep all of you excited about what's going on here, but also deliver on what it is that we've proposed as a vision behind Star Atlas. And I can tell you, it has been a busy week. It's been really a busy 20 months or so since we kicked this thing off. It's been nonstop, but really fantastic from my perspective, just to continue to see the company grow, to see the products come along. I was really excited actually today about being able to reveal some special content. Have to take the good with the bad. I'll start with the bad news. We were about to announce the date of the next 426 live event. We had a very last minute complication actually today come through that because we don't want to overpromise on dates, I'm not going to share any timeline behind the next 426 event. But what I will say is we have some great images and great content to show you with respect to both Scream and what's coming along with Showroom. But we also do have content locked in. We have the agenda locked in. We're super excited about the next 426 launch event. And I will share that during this next event, one of the items we'll be highlighting will be the Showroom R1 release, which is the release version 1 that will be up and coming. And we also have a pretty unique distribution strategy behind all of that. This is one of the components of our internal strategy that we were ideating around, and as I alluded to in the past, we have a new partnership on the horizon with respect to that, and getting that right is very important for us. So during the event, though, we'll be talking not only about Showroom. Our in-house GC, Dan Park, many of you have interacted with, will be walking through a full presentation on sustainable governance and what it means for the future of Star Atlas, how you can participate in the DAO, and how you can drive the future vision behind Star Atlas and take ownership of this ecosystem overall. We'll be formally rolling out the Atlas Locker, and we'll also be giving a presentation on what we call the Foundation Kit. This is the first open source software development kit, or SDK, that's going to be released by Automata. And with this tool set, it will enable future development that integrates seamlessly not only into Unreal Engine, but also more broadly into the Star Atlas ecosystem itself. One of the reasons we developed this was because out of necessity, we needed to integrate Solana natively into Unreal Engine. This has never been done before. It was technology that did not exist, and we felt that building this tool set, building this technology, would lead to the most seamless interaction with your wallet and with your NFTs as you're loaded into the game client. So the core idea here is you will not need to exit the showroom to interact with your wallet and with your ships. Much more to come on that, and much more to come in future infrastructure tech that's being developed that also will simplify the game interaction process. I know many people have asked about even the up and coming Scream, for example, and we've highly encouraged people to use cold storage, and we understand that clicking through to approve transactions on the fly when you're in the middle of playing game doesn't exactly sound like fun. And so we have some solutions in the pipeline surrounding that as well, so that you can not only keep your assets secure, but you can have a fun, seamless, real-time game experience as well. But a couple of big things coming. We don't want to overhype this. I hope the community is clear on that. This is not about teasing this out any longer than we have to, and we will absolutely share that date with you just as soon as we get 100% confirmation with our partners on the ability to roll out with the intended method on distribution. So those are the core things. But Santi, why don't we, rather than run through any of the project updates, we did just roll out the Atlas Star that has the roadmap scan included in it. So you guys are welcome or encouraged to go to the roadmap scan to get specific updates with respect to each of the products that are in development. But why don't we, before we get into the interviews, why don't we jump into some of the cool images?
Man, I'm really excited about those, man. I'm really excited. I'm sure the community is going to be excited as well. We got Dome ready to drop it on announcements. So yeah, Mike, just go for it, man.
Yeah, why don't we let's start with Scream content, and why don't we start with that new UI image that we pulled together today?
Let's go for it, Dom. Everything is going to be posted on announcements, guy. Let's go. Everybody go to announcements, to the top, to the very top of the server. Do you want to speak a little bit on the images that we're showing, Swag?
Just to chat through it, I think a picture is worth 1,000 words. So not a ton needs to be said here, but what you will notice from this is some refinement to that parchment paper style background that we're theming Scream with, almost kind of a tabletop styling. But this is part of what makes Star Atlas is the actual map itself, and the atlas of the universe. And so we're creating this very unique stylistic design behind Scream. I personally think it's very cool. For what it's worth, we will be looking at a dark mode version of this as well. There's a bunch of requests for that already, so we're looking through that. But other things that you'll notice here, just top left, some information about your character and character progression. So the leveling system, as well as your LP balance, that's the loyalty point system. Loyalty points unlock a few things. Loyalty points allow you to gain access to additional hangar space. You'll spend loyalty points, which you earn by participating in gameplay, by building star bases, by defending star bases, attacking other players, managing resources. And Chris can speak more extensively on this. He's been spending a ton of time on it, so I won't go any more in depth on that. But and then down on the lower left, you'll actually see a new navigation system as well for the menu system for interacting with your assets. And of course, on the right-hand side there, you have fleet details and starbase details. I will caveat quickly here
Man,
and just say that ignore the starbase for now. That is just placeholder art, and Star Trek fans will recognize that. But we actually have some cool starbase images to show as well. So we'll show you what's going to replace that very soon.
nice, nice, nice. Man,
Yeah.
this is looking very, very, very clean, let me tell you. I'm super excited. I'm glad that we are able to share this with the community. Super happy about that. Do we have more images?
We
I know
have
we
quite a
have.
few. We have quite a few more images, and we'll roll through these so that we can get into those interviews. Why don't we roll before we get into the star bases? Let's show some of the other WebGL assets that have
There you
been
go.
created by Lost Pixels. So let's. I know the ballad is a fan favorite across the community. Why don't we show the ballad?
I think we just share in announcement. Dom just share the go to announcement. Check it out. Sorry, it's the Scream the hangar on Scream.
The screen. Oh yes. Okay. Well, what we've added here is the Grenader, and like fortunately we have many assets now that have been created in WebGL. Again, this was a big shift that we took this year. We went from a text-based web game to full WebGL 3D enabled browser-based experience, opening up a more immersive gameplay experience to really a global audience, essentially anyone with an internet connection and a browser. So not too much more to be said here. People have seen the hangar space before. We've revealed that, I think, last town hall, but this shows the addition of the Grenader there. Um, let's see, what do we have coming up next? I think now we're going to roll into the ballad.
Let's see what Dom has in store, man. Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
the ballad. It's the ballad.
Yeah. What do you think, Santi? I mean, to me, this stuff is just incredibly
It's
cool. Like,
incredible. Yeah, and you
yeah,
can tell that it's incredible when people confuse this with Unreal Engine 5, man. Like some
yeah,
people, sometimes we need to clarify that this is actually WebGL and this is browser based,
yeah.
which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think this stuff is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it exceeds my expectations, to be honest. This was supposed to be low poly stuff, right? But we're able to create a beautiful asset like this and still deliver that in browser, and you know, I think it's incredible. So we'll show one more. We'll show the Mamba because the Mamba actually one of my favorites of the latest releases that we've seen.
Oh, Dom posted the ballad again, I think.
Tell it again, yeah.
Yeah, fat fingers. But we got the Mamba as well. It's coming. It's coming. There you go.
Yeah.
They are fast with these reactions, man.
I
Wow.
know they are ready. I think the community's hungry for content. Today we wanted to bring some content.
Yeah, we wanted to keep you updated. Like we are very happy that we have all this to share today, like for real. And this is not everything. Like we have more things like in this Townhall, guys. So
And
hope you're enjoying these images right now.
yeah, and I mean, these ships like this, again, with this level of fidelity, when you get into Scream, well, sure, you won't be seeing them necessarily like this, from that isometric view, the top-down view, but when we get into ship configuration and, even just being able to visualize these in your hangar, I think is just super cool. Let's keep moving along. I did say there is going to be a replacement for that DS9 Starbase that's a placeholder asset. What we want to show here is some of the progression. So as you all know, I think in Scream, one of the major gameplay modals is moving from first constructing a starbase and then upgrading that starbase. And again, Chris will probably speak more to this in the interview, so I won't say too much more. But this is the tier 1 starbase. And then why don't we just roll right out and show the tier 4 starbase. Now, the tier 1 that you're looking at here in announcements is production art. This is actually a 3D asset. What we're sharing right now is a T4 concept art. So this has not been modeled out yet, but this is the current approved T4 starbase. So what the key thing here is as you continue to upgrade those starbases, that there's like visual cue for all of that. So, okay, I want to keep things moving. I want to make sure we have
Yeah.
time here, Santi. So we're going to show a couple of quick images here related to Unreal Engine. We'll start with the handgun modeling that was done.
Okay. Okay. That is modeling. Is it concept art or is it Unreal Engine?
Excuse me, concept art. Yes.
Yeah. It is. I just want to be very clear, man. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, guys,
So-
I'm loving all of the emojis here, so keep those coming.
yeah,
Really
yeah, yeah.
appreciate it.
Where are the Argentina flags, guys? Come on.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
Let's go. Let's go. So
Okay,
this
and
is the very first ever time that we share a gun, I think. Like a
it is.
handgun.
Yeah,
It is. Cool.
it absolutely is. I mean, there's a lot of big things in the pipeline, obviously, for what we're doing in the UE game client, and this is still very early stuff, but have some cool ideas around well, shooting, right, and how you're
Yeah.
actually going to engage outside in first person view outside of your spaceship. So we'll show one more thing, and actually it's a great segue into Brad's interview because he recorded this video, and it's a PX4. We had mentioned that players in future versions of the showroom beyond the first release are going to be able to engage in some in-flight mechanics, and the Pierce X4 mounting and dismounting, I believe, is what we have coming up next year.
Yeah. We need to be very clear that this is what we're sharing right now. It's not going to be part of the very first release of the showroom.
That's right.
So just have that in mind. I'm sure Dom is processing the video now to share it. It will be, of course, posted in announcements. But while it's being posted, okay, it's up now. It's
Yeah.
up. So yeah, what you see in there is the basically our character jumping in and out of the Pierce X4. And this is not going to be part of the first release, guys. Just we want to be very clear with that to just set expectations. But it is pretty awesome. It is pretty awesome.
Very awesome. And yeah, thanks for clarifying that, Santi. I mean, what I will say, guys, one more thing for me is just that we do have the R1 candidate finalized now, and again, it is ready to roll out. So stay tuned with us, and we're going to be announcing the official date of 426 just as soon as we possibly can when we have absolute certainty around that launch date. But at the same time, we are already working on not only future versions of the showroom, but also future versions of the game itself. And so a lot of kind of concurrent pipelines of development going on. We wanted to share a little bit of that with you today. But with that, Santi, why don't I turn it back over to you? Let's hear from our great guests.
Awesome. And this is, I would just say that we will jump on the interviews, but we still have more alpha content like to share on announcements. So also stay tuned there. We'll be mentioning it when when we share it. But there's still more to come on this Townhall, guys. Like for real. So yeah, now let's jump into Brad's interview. Brad, man, I'm super happy to have you here, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Awesome, man. Again, super happy to have you. People may know you from the flyabout video where you were racing through the checkpoints and
Yeah.
speaking on it. That's your very ever first appearance in the community, right?
Yes, I was.
Awesome, man. Awesome, awesome. So I prepared a few questions for you today, man, so people can get to know you better. So can you tell us a little bit, like, first about you, man? Like, tell me who's Brad?
Who's Brad? Uh, husband and father. I got 3 kids. I when I'm not doing Star Atlas and I'm not playing other space sims, I like to I do jujitsu. Um, I like to play the guitar. I like to snowboard. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a good definition, man. So tell me about yourself, your previous experience first in gaming. I want to know. I know you're a big fan of space exploration games.
Yeah, my first real space sim that I got into was Elite, and it was Elite Dangerous. Back right when it was brand new, this was probably 2000, what was it 2009, something like that.
Mhm.
And that sucked me in really, really hard. Initially, I was just playing. First, I started on a mouse and keyboard, and I was like, "This is lame." So then I got a HOTAS, and that really opened things up for me. It's kind of a game changer. But then once I got into VR, that was next level. Elite in VR.
No
Not
coming back.
geek out, but if you guys have never played Elite in VR, it's almost like a spiritual experience.
That's a good definition, man. That's a good definition. So tell me a little bit
Um,
about your previous experience. I know you were working on a game yourself, right?
yes. So as far as my journey into game development, I went to school for animation, um, and then I kind of taught myself Unreal Engine as I worked on a solo game. Um, I got pretty far on it. It's kind of on hiatus now because I'm doing Star Atlas, um, but it's on Steam if you wanna check it out.
Cool. I will share the link on the Townhall chat right now.
Perfect, yeah.
Awesome. So you have been working on this solo, like on your own,
Yeah,
correct? That's
yeah.
pretty awesome,
So
man.
I didn't like I got a lot of like model packs from the Unreal Marketplace and stuff. So it's not like I modeled every single thing and so I got a lot of assets, but all the gameplay and stuff was all me, and the animation is me.
Cool, man. That is awesome. I love it. For it being solo developed, like that's looking very good for real.
Thank
Congratulations.
you, thank you.
Congratulations on that. So right now, I think we can jump on what do you do at Star Atlas? What are you doing here, man? What are you building?
Um, I have the coolest job in the world. I'll
Ah,
tell you what. Um,
that,
I was just talking to Jacob yesterday. I was telling him like 5 o'clock rolls around, and I'm like, keep working. And when the weekend comes, it's like it just drags forever, and I just want it to be over so I can get back to work because it's so much
yeah,
fun.
I feel you on
But
that, man.
I'm a I'm a gameplay engineer, and my focus has been like prototyping. So they'll give me a task, or sometimes they even won't, and I'll just come up with something that I think is cool. You know, it'd be really cool, and I'll just make a prototype and share it with the team, and we'll kind of tweak it or go from there. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're working on the fun part of all things, right?
Right. I
I
feel like
love that.
everyone else does the tedious part, and I just get to do the fun part.
Yeah. So you're doing a lot of work on the Pierce X4, like the video we shared in announcements, the latest one, like the our character mounting in the Pierce X4. You are the main guy working on that, correct?
Yeah, I did that animation.
Cool, cool. So you're also working on the racing mode, right?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
tell
That
us a little
so
bit
that
about what you're trying to achieve in there?
yeah. So um, like you said, the first release of Showroom won't have any of this, but
Hmm.
hopefully in subsequent releases we'll get some kind of racing. It's still haven't nailed down the design of how it'll go, but we want to get something that's fun into the players' hands. I know there's a big racing community here in Star Atlas. Um, and then kind of looking further down the line, future updates, what those will feel like.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a big racing community. We just posted the video. Go to announcements, guys. We just posted the video. Brad, if you want to go to announcements as well, it's at the very top. And
Hmm.
if you want to comment on the video we just posted, it's the turrets one.
Okay. Yeah, this was kind of me just messing around again. I don't think anyone actually. Michael mentioned once. He's I posted a video of shooting targets, and he said, "Wouldn't it be cool if the target shot back?" And so we didn't have a damage system, and so these projectiles don't do physical damage, but the idea was they do like electrical damage. So what happens is when they hit you, it throttles your engine way down, and so it slows you down. So the idea was you could either just try and fly like a madman and dodge the projectiles, or you can shoot the turrets and blow them up. So and then yeah, so you just go through the rings and try and get the best time.
Yeah, I want to see the reactions in that video, guys. Let's go to announcements. Let's encourage Brad to keep working on this, guys. I want to see reactions here, guys. Come on. This is awesome, Brad. Like, again, we want to be very clear that this is not coming in the very first release with the showroom, but we wanted to show the progress on the stuff that we have been working on in the background. And maybe Michael, if you want to add some comments here, I'm sure you're watching the video right now, or maybe you are drinking water and I cut you off word.
Always have the water on standby, Santi. No, I think, I think Danny's mentioned this. The showroom is really a test bed for us, but it's also an environment for people, for the community to interact in. And so we get to develop and refine a lot of the technology that's going to be replicated throughout the core gaming experience in the future. And the showroom is something that will continue to exist and be integrated into the main game. And we actually have Danny put together or shared a proposal with us just this week on what the progression from showroom beyond showroom R2 looks like going into the next major release. And I'm not going to reveal anything about that just yet, but we have some really cool concepts up and coming, and it'll be a longer development cycle. But in the meantime, we do want to deliver some more replayability to the showroom beyond the social experience and beyond the voice chat and the text chat and the asset interactions. And so, things like this give us an opportunity to do that as we continue to refine these mechanics.
Awesome, man. Thank you for sharing your words. And yeah, just again, very clear that this is not coming in the first release. We want to set expectations, but we also want you to guys to know what's going on behind the scenes. And this is a very good moment to share it because Brad has been working really hard on this. I mean, I say working really hard, but you are actually loving it, Brad, right?
Yeah, work might be a bit of a stretch. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Brad has been having fun with this. So I love to see all the reactions and the love because yeah, this is made out of passion and we just want to share it with you guys. So yeah, thank you to everybody who is listening now and encouraging Brad to continue doing this awesome job. Uh, but yeah, I don't know if I have more questions for you. Yeah, so I know you have like a clear objective on what you want to achieve with this module, but we're speaking about fun. Like, how much fun will it be? How important it is for you, Brad, for this to be fun to play?
Yeah, Star Atlas is kind of a big beast with lots of different dimensions, and there's the whole crypto aspect of it, and I think that's interesting. But I wouldn't consider myself like a crypto native. I'm more of a
Hmm.
you're just your traditional gamer, and so I'm just all about making it fun. That's my goal. Is just
It's all about
having
fun for
fun.
you.
Yeah.
I love that, man. That should be it. Like for real. Then we integrate all the other stuff. It needs to be fun. So I love that answer, man. I love that answer. So one last question for you, man. I would like to know. This is more like on a personal level. What what will your role be in game?
I've always been a miner for whatever reason. Mining's always in Elite Dangerous. I did a ton of mining in on my Python mostly. Kitted out. I did deep core mining. It was a lot of fun. In Star Citizen, my main is a Argo Mole. So I don't know what it is about mining, but I've always just loved it. So that's probably what I'll do.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So I actually have one follow-up question to that, and it's what excites you the most about working at Star Atlas and being part of this?
Just to be part of something huge, on the ground floor of something big. Like I worked on my solo game, and that's fun, but working as a team on part of something really huge, it's just there's something a lot more satisfying about it. I don't know.
Awesome, man. Yeah, this is a big dream, and we are super happy, man, to have you on the team. And thank you for coming here to the town hall. Like, you are earning the alpha sharing master role or something like that, because like what we just shared right now, man, this is the real alpha, man. I love it, and I love that you actually commented a little bit on what we're trying to achieve with this. And yeah, man, I'm 100% sure that the community will love to have you again on the town hall. But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming today.
Oh, sure thing. It was fun.
If I can just add one comment, Brad, you've been an amazing addition to the team, man. You've made some incredible progress in a very short period of time. Just one clarification too on this video that we just shared is that this is all prototyping stuff too. And I mean, the first
Yeah.
video that you shared with us internally, it was like this matrix, right? And just like seeing the progress, but things like visual effects, the way the guns shoot, I mean, I've seen ammunition fly out of these ships that look like arrows, right? And so seeing that progress along and the changes to the gates and changes to sound effects, like these are all things that just they're progressive. Anything you want to say just as a final comment around that before we move over to Chris?
Yeah, this is absolutely just me messing around. This is in no way like indicative of final product or quality or anything. It's just me having fun and seeing where it goes.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you again.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, Brad, thank you so much for tuning, man. I'm sure we will have you on another town hall for sure.
Thank you.
So now we have another. I mean, the guests today are just insane. I'm super happy to have everyone here. But Chris, man, how are you today?
Doing pretty well. Now we go from the really exciting, cool gameplay stuff to the boring economics. So
No, 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 no. Don't say it like that, man. I'm sure like the community is really interested about the economy, and everybody knows how uh, a big of an aspect is the economy on a game, especially a game like what Star Atlas is going to be and Scream. So I'm sure a lot of people will find this conversation enjoyable as well, man.
awesome. Looking forward to it.
Chris,
So
some of my favorite calls every week are the econ calls for what it's worth. So I think the community will enjoy it as well. And to Santi's point, the implications of what we're building and the implications of economic design and architecture across Star Atlas are so much more significant than they are even in traditional games because of the crypto component of it. So I think this is going to be a great interview as well.
Absolutely.
awesome. Yeah, I see the guys in the econ calls, and I always see Michael in there. I'm sure, Michael, you don't you don't miss any of the econ calls. So that is awesome. That is awesome. And the econ team is growing a lot. Like we have Gareth, we have Eric, we have Garang, we have Steven, now Chris, and maybe I'm missing someone. Please let me know. But big shout out to our econ guys. They are awesome. They are awesome.
And a rug as well.
Anurag,
Yeah.
yes. Big shout out. Big shout out to the guys. So Chris, let's get started here, man. Tell us a little bit about a brief introduction about yourself, like your previous experience.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. I started out in academia, and I have been doing a PhD for a good number of years. Fortunately, I'm hoping to have my dissertation finished up this December and be granted my PhD. But a couple of years ago, I started to kind of get into play to earn video games and started to actually work on a couple of different projects. So, I mean, I've worked on different types of projects, and I've had the pleasure of kind of interacting with not necessarily working on, but interacting with many different projects. All the way from really simple kind of mechanical, sort of play and earn stuff, all the way up to like fully fledged play to earn models. So I think that's given me a unique perspective to be able to best help Star Atlas with what I can do.
Awesome, man. So I want to know how you found Star Atlas, And I also know you had to make a pretty interesting decision as well when you found us.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was actually a pretty straightforward decision, but basically, I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so it's funny when I first brought up, when I first started working in this industry, I brought up to one of my my advisors. I was like, oh, hey, I got this, play to earn job, and I'm thinking about taking it. And he was like, oh, is it Star Atlas? And he was like, I was like, so it's kind of ironic because I was like, oh no, it's not. But obviously I'd heard about it, so it's kind of satisfying to finally be on this this project. I like to think that I've just kind of been stepping up and up and up, and now I don't want to give Michael too big a head, but now I'm kind of at the top of the hill. So I'm super happy to be here. But yeah, I kind of as an econ PhD, you most of the time you're kind of doing pretty straightforward data science or economist jobs, for certainly Web 2 companies. So I kind of had this choice between a Web 2 and a Web 3 company for this next job. And I was talking to one of my a mentor, and he was like, so, and in my defense, I had already pretty much decided on Star Atlas, but he just he couldn't believe that I was even considering a job that wasn't creating my own being a part of creating our own virtual economy. So he was like, you would rather work at a boring Web 2 company or invent, help invent the next, level of economy. So, yeah, it was a pretty easy decision though.
Yeah, I imagine, man. But it's a very interesting point of view as well, because like an economist PhD, they usually go for another route. So I'm happy that we have you here, man.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, I was pretty dead set on academia, and then I just slowly started to dip my fingers into, in industry, and in particular Web3 industry, and I really, obviously, I stayed here. So yeah, I'm very excited. I think it's a needed thing in this industry, and people like Michael and people at this company have kind of realized, how powerful the economics can be.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I see Chip out in the audience. I don't know if Mo's out there, but I'm sure they're incredibly grateful that you've joined as well, just because of the contributions on Scream already. Just some amazing progress. But yeah, I'm thrilled to have you on, Chris.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, and it's been smooth because those guys are so amazing. It's really been an incredible first month for me. But anyway, I won't. I'll let you get to your next question, Santi.
Related, man. Like I want to know. I love to ask this question because everybody has like a different point of view on why. But what excites you the most about working here? Like what excites you the most, man?
So the reason I even got into this industry is because when I was in my undergrad, I did a couple of research papers about EVE Online's economy. And I just was obsessed with this idea that there was this virtual economy that was so robust and fleshed out. And there was actually a PhD economist who designed that economy in the first place. He's Icelandic, so his name is kind of it's like Gudmundsson or something like that. But I always kind of looked up to that economy and that idea of let's use real world. Let's take a real economist and see what happens when they create a virtual economy. So with that, I really see Star Atlas as kind of the next generation of MMORPG. I see it as the next generation of highly sophisticated, fully player-driven markets within virtual worlds. I think that's just an incredibly powerful thing, and it's something that I'm extremely excited to be a part of. So I definitely think that this is having researched these types of economies for a long time, I do believe that this is a significant, we are playing a significant role in the future of video gaming, but also virtual economies. And I think, it's just awesome to be a part of that.
Totally, man. I agree 100%. So yeah, I love to hear these answers, man. I love it. So tell us a little bit about your role at Star Atlas. What is your official role?
So I'm the director of game economy, not to be confused with Steven Sabol's role. He's kind of more on the data side. He tries to study kind of the macro economy as a whole. He's been doing an amazing job at not only getting me acquainted with the data and the environment and the types of information the types of questions we can answer with the data we have, but also in anticipating the types of questions we want to answer in the future. But for the time being, I'm focusing heavily into the microeconomics of a SCREAM in particular, but obviously, with this grand plan of trying to arc it out for, the future of Star Atlas in general, not, beyond SCREAM. So yeah, that's been my role, and I'm just, I'm excited. It's been absolutely amazing. It's been super fun, and I'm excited to, for that role to kind of, adjust and evolve as we get more, especially once we go live with SCREAM and starting to look at data, stuff like that. Do more
Yeah.
micro work.
Yeah. That's going to be very interesting how everything plays out and the data we can collect, because it's going to be pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me now that we are speaking about this, tell me a little bit more about your day to day. What does your day to day look like? I know it's more like week to week, but tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously I've been here for just under a month, so I don't want to, while I do feel very comfortable here, like just blown away by how well acclimated I've become so quickly. It's been pretty much kind of weekly sprints. So the last couple of weeks have just been pretty much covering one big project every single week. And so at the beginning of the week, I kind of start off familiarizing myself with the content that's been passed to me from game design, and also the econ team that they've done in the past. So Eric and Gareth, for example, have done a lot of work on coming up with the preliminary kind of numbers and ways to think about some of these systems. And so that's been really helpful. So I kind of do my studying. I essentially economize it. I I throw some economic theory and some math formulas at it, and see what I can come up with. See if I can come up with a cool model that can kind of help us do our jobs as economists, but also keep the vision that the game designers had in the first place. And then we basically kind of go back and forth, iterate, communicate with all the different stakeholders, whether it's the game design team, even sometimes engineering, BI, obviously econ and Michael, and then kind of finish it up and code up a little simulation at the end of the week. And so far it's been, so far so good. The econ team is extremely efficient, and I'm super pumped to be a part of it.
Awesome, man. So lots of progress on SCREAM Econ side from what you're saying.
Yeah. It's been. I think all of us are a little surprised at just the kind of sheer progress that we're making. I think we're all very happy.
Awesome. We have one last SCREAM Alpha leak just posted on announcements. So guys, go to announcements right now and check it out. It's the concept of the starbase for Usturs. So
Yeah. Central Space Station.
okay, Central Space Station for Usturs. Thank you, Michael. Do you want to comment a little bit on that?
Hi, it
On the
speaks for
image?
itself. I think it's one of the hottest leaks of today. But just absolutely beautiful. Central Space Station, that's where everybody's going to start in the game. It's your home base, it's your safe space. And yeah, I mean, the image, again, speaks for itself. This is work in progress. Possible this changes a little bit, but man, just what amazing talent we have on the art side and creative side, bringing things like this to life.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. So while everybody checks out the video we just shared, I have more questions for you, Chris. If you're still with me, if you're still ready.
Oh, absolutely. I'm also kind of in awe of the spaceship, and it's you won't see the numbers, but the numbers are going to be it's cool to think that the numbers we're coming up with are going to influence that beautiful structure. So
Awesome, man. Yeah. So tell me now that we're speaking SCREAM and everybody's looking at that, what do we want to achieve in terms of economy on SCREAM from the
yeah.
game side?
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of the kind of the short term, we want to essentially, in the early days, try to best calibrate our economic tools so that the economy is in the longer term is pretty much just completely owned by the players. We don't have to, as the economists worry about it. So I think, my first priority, and I think the econs team first priority, is to understand our players. What are their interests? What are they motivated by? Understanding that behavior and trying to model the economy in a way that essentially rewards that type of behavior. Trying to best adjust the economy to what the players are kind of doing. If players don't like a certain piece of the economy, maybe we can adjust it to try and better serve our community. In the longer term, obviously, this is the building block of the Star Atlas economy. It will be, it'll be kind of as we iterate through. I mean, just like Score was, kind of the first iteration, Scream is going to be, probably even a bigger step for us in terms of economics. And so I'm just hoping that we're able to, with that early calibration to make sure that we're, giving the players what they want economically, create a self-sustaining major economy that makes up a substantial amount of kind of the classic MMORPG economies out there, but also obviously the Web3 economies that we have that are out there.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So a follow-up here. It's how are we planning to balance the economy? Are we? I know we're doing some stuff to prevent, for example, economic glitches.
Yeah. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've noticed in this industry is just people not really understanding how inflation works and not understanding how economic productivity works. So you've got a lot of economies out there where productivity is just out of control, and they don't know why, and the value of their assets is dropping, or their inflation is out of control. So one of the things that we do in our economy is we make sure that the economy is balanced such that production is linked to the costs. So in normal economies, we don't typically see increasing returns. You don't see companies becoming exponentially more profitable or anything like that. You typically see constant returns to scale or even diminishing returns to scale. And so that is a philosophy. That's an economic philosophy that we're trying to hold true to in this economy. So I mean, in terms of the balancing itself is a really simple mathematical procedure. It's you're taking a couple of equations and you're solving a system of equations essentially. It's algebra. It's really making sure that there are variables in those equations and in those numbers that you can control as the game designer, as the economist, so that if something bad happens, you have the ability to undo it, or try and get the economy back on the right foot. So there's a couple of things we're doing. We're trying to mitigate risk, but we're also trying to create an economically valid environment, something that is a free market, but isn't subject to some of the issues that smaller economies face. And like I said, I think our end goal is to just other than obviously some sort of engineering glitch or something like that, is that if there is some sort of maybe the economy goes into some war breaks out and somebody goes into a recession, obviously to a certain degree, but maybe that's fun. Maybe this economy is so real and rich that economic cycles happen, just like in games like Eve and even in things like RuneScape and World of Warcraft. So we want to the balancing is fine, it's whatever, but we want to make sure that we're doing this from an economist's perspective, so that we understand the cause and effect. Eric, the senior director of economy, he always emphasizes understanding he calls it the law of unintended consequences, and I absolutely love that, because with economics, the beautiful thing about economics and being an economist is thinking about the world in this unexpected way, thinking how's this gonna play out that I'm not thinking about, and oftentimes in economics the answer is pretty surprising, and it could be very cool and fun how you get to that solution. So yeah, I mean, obviously mathematically sound, but also economically sound. That's how we're balancing the economy.
Awesome, man. I love the answer, and I'm glad that you are able to share with this level of detail. I'm sure we have some people who really care about the economy, and they're loving this interview, man. I'm sure they're loving it. So I think I don't have any more questions for you, man. I really appreciate it. I want to leave some time at least for one question from the audience, please. Michael, any closing thoughts before we move to from Chris' interview?
Well, this could be actually two more questions for Chris, and this could be a
Okay.
little bit extended. We can go over by a couple of minutes to get that question in. I actually thought we'd have more time here, but first, Chris, maybe just segueing from your last response, if you can elaborate a little bit on the concept of economic levers. And I mean, what you guys just described this morning is that there's at least 24 economic levers that you've constructed just over the last 4 weeks. Can you maybe speak to the concept and how we use them, just as an extension of your previous response?
Absolutely. Yeah. So by the time this is, all said and done, I anticipate we'll have probably, I don't know, close to, 50, maybe a couple dozen different levers. And what we call a lever is basically it's some way, and it's a number. It's a number that impacts our economy. And it allows us to change more than one thing at a time. So if we see that the cost of commodities is dropping or something like that, or that there's randomly it just seems like there's an abundance of this resource and it's causing prices to go down. We have levers that we can push and pull and adjust so that we can mitigate some of the risks associated with especially in the early times, some of those things. But I want to really emphasize that the levers are not it's not like a lever can be the incorrect value. A lever can be the incorrect value for gameplay. It can't be the incorrect value for economy. The way that we've designed the economy is such that it's a functioning economy no matter what the value of these levers are. So these are really, I like to think of these as like, not changing how much it costs to do this thing, but instead changing almost how fun it is to do the thing, if that makes sense. So rather than changing the incentives because something is changing in price, you're changing the incentives because something is more accessible in the universe, and it's more fun, it's more smooth, it's more lubricated, the economy, to move from one place to another and do different activities. So that's kind of our philosophy with levers and kind of the role that they play.
Very helpful, man. Thank you. And I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball here, so
Oh boy.
know how to respond. I fully understand, but I've often heard that economists have predicted 7 of the last 3 recessions. Do you have thoughts on that?
It's funny, like when you're an economist, especially, if you're in a PhD program, every single time you go to a family gathering, you just get questions about, the market and the S&P 500. Oh, do you think we're going to have what do you think about housing prices? What do you think about this? And I'm like, guys, I study labor economics. I study microeconomics. I don't know anything. So that's kind of my general, my approach is pretty hands off with these types of things. And I think that most economists will never, that's my if it's a real economist, they'll say they don't know. If it's a fake economist, they'll try to tell you that they know. That's my take.
That's great, man. And personal experience in wealth management, I fully appreciate the perspective of wanting to get that insight into the market. So thank you for that, Chris. Brad, Chris, thank you guys both. Really appreciate you spending some time with us and the introduction to the community here. I'm sure they appreciated all of your responses to those questions and getting to know you a little better. It's been fantastic having you up here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Let's open the floor for some Q&A. Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, we can take 1 or 2, and as always, guys, I mean, I'm out there in Discord with you all the time, responding to questions. So I do appreciate when you ask a question to one of our guests, just because they're not out there as frequently as I am. But as always, open floor for any question that you might have.
Question for you live, Swag. Do you see the raise hands? Because I'm having trouble. I see the notifications of raise hands, but I don't see. So can you let people in yourself?
I
Or
can't, and I actually saw some notification. I think we have to go. It no longer shows the queue. I saw some notification here in Discord. I think it might have updated. So we can see the raised hands in the audience.
yeah. Let me leave the stage and rejoin in case this fixes it. I don't know. 1
Sure,
sec.
sure. So I did want to offer one clarification while we wait for Santi to get back up, and just that that central space station that we shared, that is also a WebGL asset. That is that has been constructed for Scream. So just making sure we're abundantly clear here on what's being designed and for what environment it will live. Santi, welcome back. I don't know that the issues.
I'm still having issues, man. Like I see that we have some hands raised, but I'm not able to let them in. So maybe what we can do is, if real quick, if you have a question, tag me on Townhall chat, and I will try to find you the audience and invite you to speak manually. Maybe that's a solution. So if you have any questions, tag me right now on the Townhall chat, and I will try to get you on stage. Sorry for being this this rough doing it, but I'm okay. Lucius, let's get Lucius first. Let me find you Lucius real quick. Sorry guys for this. It's the Discord update. Michael, can you sing something in the meantime?
I am scanning as well. Can I sing something? Well, you're the expert in that. I don't know if everybody's heard your
Perfect.
the beginnings of your rap career yet, but
Oh no. We had Lucius on stage now, so hey Lucius, man, how are you, sir?
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be here. And yeah, Michael, we're getting together a band. Santi's gonna be the singer. We're going for K-pop, so I hope you're ready
Oh
for
my
that.
gosh.
well, you
And
need the fashion. You need the fashion. Santi's taking the first step with his new Dapper tag in Discord, so it sounds like you guys are on the right track.
I already have the purple dye hair ready, so it's happening, my friend. So not to take a lot of time from you guys, and again, thank you for the awesome job you're doing. I was wondering, and this is for you, Michael. How are you able to balance everything and anything when it comes to the concerns from the community, from the financial aspect to the gaming aspect of things? Because it's widely known that we're pretty much split in half. Some of us are waiting for the gaming and start shooting people out of the sky, and some people are also waiting and closely looking for profit. So I'm very curious on how how you actually put that on a balance and engage it properly to be able to deliver what the community expects, because I'm pretty sure it is pretty demanding. And again, thank you very much for having me.
Of course, great question. Really appreciate it. I think I can address this one pretty quickly, and it's pretty simple from a priority standpoint. We set out to build the first or one of the first AAA quality games that lives on blockchain, and so we are a gaming first development studio, and what we have the expertise in is understanding Web3 and blockchain technology quite well, and we understand the benefits and potential of the integration of this alternative financial ecosystem into a gaming product. But everything we focus on every single day is building the best in class game and making sure that it's a lot of fun. And Brad spoke to this in one of his responses. We care about a very fun game, because at the end of the day, if you don't have that quality, enjoyable, entertaining product that delivers a sense of escapism and delivers deep immersion into the environment, people will not stay. The financial incentive alone is not sufficient to attract people and retain people into this new digital society that we're building. So very much the centerpiece is enjoyable gameplay. And then we have, experts across our economy team, and, obviously Chris here on stage with us, who's speaking through how we ensure that we create that sustainable economy because of the implications of crypto integration into the product itself and the true financial impact that it can make, and how it provides opportunity for people all over the world to interact with this. So it's very much about the game. I will, maybe just as a final statement, include that we do see a future in front of us with significant opportunity to participate in digital worlds outside of the gaming product, but that is it's distant in our minds and not where we're focused today. Without the core attraction, which is the game, bringing people in and attracting people, and again retaining those people, the rest of the experiences that can emerge around the idea of the metaverse, things like social and education and commerce experiences and other ways that you can just spend time digitally. And by the way, the integration of digital and physical space with things like AR tech in the future, without the strong foundational society forming around all of this, none of the other experiences can exist or persist. And so, yeah, hopefully that addresses it. But I guess, sorry, one additional thing is just that we have teams with expertise, departments within our company that allow us to focus on those individual aspects of development that are important. And there is not really a necessity to prioritize across those departments because they operate on parallel tracks. What's important is that we can coordinate activity across those departments, but ultimately the people that are working in, say, product, are experts and experienced in building AAA games. And so then we work with the other departments to ensure that we can create that, sustainable economy, create the financial incentives, make sure that first and foremost it's all fun though.
Thank you very much for the response, and yeah, looking forward to what's next. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, Lucius.
Awesome. So we have one. I think Chris had a question for Chris. So Chris, you want to go for it? Not sure if you have your mic ready. I know you were setting it up. Maybe you're with push to talk or something. If your mic is not working, I can just ask it for you, man. I got you. I know you typed it. Yeah, I will ask it to you, Chris. Might be a difficult one, but I'm asking
Oh boy. Okay.
instead of Chris. So the question is, to what degree of oversight and influence does the economic team plan on having when balancing gameplay when compared to inputs from the Police DAO?
So let me just kind of try to understand that. So the first part is like, how much control do we, or how much influence, how much, kind of contact do we expect to have with the economy? Is that the question, or I kind of was a little confused by the second part with respect to the DAO.
I will allow more clarification from Chris.
Chris, maybe respond to the first part. I
Yeah.
might touch on the DAO a little bit.
Yeah,
in closing, yeah.
for sure. Yeah. So I mean, like I was saying, we hope to. I think our dream is to just like, have this a pretty well-oiled machine. After the initial kind of play testing and kind of calibration, once we at go live, I think our goal is to just touch as little as possible. We don't want to, be some sort of, government agency that's, coming in and changing things. And in fact, it'd be very difficult to, once the economy is going, it'd be very difficult for us to do that in the first place. There are, consequences to every single action. So we're going to be very, very, very careful and, very sensitive with these mechanisms in terms of that. But yeah, I mean, maybe they're referring to the burn rates and how things are transferring to the DAO with respect to like game activity.
Chris, if you have your mic fixed, will be awesome to clarify, but if not, I see you trying to speak. Anybody can hear Chris? Or I
No.
don't. Okay. Okay, too bad. Unlucky.
Yeah.
So, yes,
I'll just touch on that DAO component if that's, and maybe we'll close out with that if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the idea here is that we transition not only the economy into an in-game player economy, but genuinely transfer ownership of the future development of Star Atlas over to the community as well, and utilize the DAO as that treasury mechanism to enable that specific type of activity. What that would imply intrinsically is that stakeholders and participants across the DAO through some sustainable model of decentralized governance, which again Dan will be speaking to on the next 426 event, they would have the authority to make dramatic changes to the economy. Now, I think to Chris's point, and what we've emphasized really since the beginning is that it's incredibly important for us to develop out a strong, sustainable foundation, not only for the gaming product and quality of development, but also for things that have financial implications surrounding the economy. And so, ideally, we enter into a state in which the economy is functioning quite well already, and it should require very little interaction or any type of changes introduced through the community itself. However, it's theoretically possible and feasible that people will want to see changes over time. Part of this is beyond the economy. It's really related primarily to the governance and the governance structure that gets introduced, and ensuring that some level of exploitation is not possible as permitted through the DAO. So creating consensus across the entirety of the community and making sure that decisions that are being made or proposals that are being introduced are to the benefit of the majority and not to a minority, even with a substantial voting weight within the DAO. So all of this, the DAO itself, obviously extremely experimental, and it's why we're taking a very strategic approach to rolling out that authority in governance across our ecosystem.
Hey, thanks for the answers. I managed to catch the answers from Chris and you, Michael. Apologize for the mic issues, but that does get at the heart of what I was asking for. So thank you again.
Perfect. Thanks, Griggs.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig. So I think we're good to close here. Any closing thoughts, Michael?
No, I mean, this is, I think it was another great town hall, a little bit of scrambling going into it, as you know, Santi, just being perfectly open,
Yeah.
some last minute changes, but you know, as always, we're incredibly excited about what's being built, and you know, we're looking forward to sharing that with you all and getting you more involved in the future here, hopefully in the very near term, but more to come from us on that. And again, Brad, Chris, thanks for joining. Santi, thanks for co-hosting as always. And to the audience out there, we appreciate you guys joining and sharing this time with us.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Brad. It was a great town hall, and yeah, I'm dropping here the link on the town hall chat for the Twitter Spaces. We'll continue the conversation in there in the after party hosted by the great Ash. Hope everybody enjoyed all the content that was dropped on announcements. It was. I'm happy that we were able to release this for the community, and hope you appreciate it. Again, this is not coming in the showroom content is not coming in the first release, but in the releases that are coming after. So we just want to be very clear to manage expectations. And well, we'll see you in the Twitter Spaces, guys. I will post a link again on the Town Hall chat. So this was the Star Atlas Town Hall number 33, and power to the people.
Stick it to the man. Have a great weekend, everyone.
See you, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.